Hey everyone, before we dive in, if you love stories about women taking back their power and serving cold, hard justice, hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss an upload. When my husband offhandedly mentioned, my buddies keep saying you're not impressive enough for me, I could probably find someone who's a better match. I just looked at him and said, cool, go find her. That very same day, I silently canceled the vacation we had booked, returned all the birthday gifts I'd already bought, and wiped every plan we had off the calendar. 2 weeks later, at 4 in the morning, his best friend called me sobbing. Please pick up, something went down tonight, and it's all about you. I woke up to see Alex stuffing clothes into a suitcase at 6:15 a.m. The room was still dim, just the faintest gray light sneaking in. Shadows hung in every corner of the bedroom where we'd spent the last 7 years pretending we were a team. Our wedding photos on the dresser glowed a little in that early light. Happy smiles from a day when I actually thought we were creating something solid. What are you doing? I mumbled, voice scratchy from sleep. He didn't even glance up, just kept folding his shirts like a robot, slow, exact, like he'd practiced this moment 100 times in his head. I'm crashing at Liam's for a few days, he said, voice totally flat, like he was reading from a script he'd memorized in the mirror. I need space to figure out if us, is really what I want long term. I sat up straight, clutching the sheets around me, trying to make my brain catch up. If this is what you want, I repeated. He waved a hand around the room, at me, at everything we'd built over 7 years. Us. Look, Jenna, you're an awesome person. But lately my friends have been pointing out stuff, like why I'm with someone who doesn't really have big goals, someone who's just comfortable. Not exactly a standout. The word comfortable landed like a punch straight to the chest. Comfortable, I echoed under my breath. Then he kept going, zipping the suitcase with a sound that felt way too permanent. Taylor said something last night that really got me. She said I'm too much of a catch to settle for someone ordinary, and honestly, I think she's onto something. He grabbed the handle, headed for the door, and in that second the whole marriage flashed in front of me. 7 years of shrinking myself, so he could feel tall, dimming everything I accomplished, so his little spotlight could stay bright. Alex, I said, voice completely steady now. Wait. He turned, probably expecting me to cry, to beg, to promise I'd suddenly turn into whatever version of impressive he and his friends had cooked up. Before you walk out, there's something you should know about what I've actually been doing these past 3 years, while you thought I was just chilling at home being average. He dropped the suitcase with an annoyed huff, like I was ruining his dramatic exit. Jenna, this really isn't My company just got bought for $21 million, I said calmly. My cut is $12.7 million. I watched every emotion cross his face in real time. Confusion, disbelief, pure shock, as the whole story he told himself and everyone else about the hotshot husband with the basic little wife started falling apart right in front of him. So, yeah, take all the time you need at Liam's, I went on. Really think hard about whether you want someone more impressive. And while you're at it, I'll be putting together something extra special for your birthday. Don't worry, your whole crew is invited, especially Taylor. His mouth opened, but 0 words came out. His brain was clearly short-circuiting. Oh, and Alex? One last thing. The lease on this apartment? Always been in my name only. So feel free to take all the time you need, just not here. The silence after that was the sweetest sound I'd heard in 7 years. You're making this up, he finally choked out, sounding almost panicked. You don't own a company. You do freelance stuff from the kitchen table. I've seen you. I do crisis management consulting, I corrected, switching to the calm, professional tone I use with terrified CEOs. The kind that steps in when tech companies are facing total disasters no one else will touch. Massive data leaks, PR train wrecks, executive scandals that could sink the whole ship. I grabbed my phone off the nightstand, opened the email, and turned the screen toward him. This is from Catalyst Ventures. Deal closed yesterday. Want to read the wire transfer confirmation yourself? Or should I forward it so you can check? He just stared, like the woman in front of him had suddenly become a complete stranger. My partner's name is Lena Park, I continued. We started the firm 3 years ago. right around the time you got that big promotion you couldn't stop bragging about. Remember coming home, popping champagne, talking for hours about how you'd finally made it? I cooked your favorite meal, opened that ridiculous bottle we were saving, and never once mentioned I'd just landed my first seven-figure client that same week. Why? He croaked. Why wouldn't you tell me? Because you were so proud to be the successful one, I said softly. The breadwinner with the sweet, low-key wife who worked from home. And I honestly thought letting you have that story was what a good partner does. That love meant making myself smaller so you could feel bigger. I walked to the closet, pulled out a sharp black dress, the kind I wear when I need to walk into a boardroom and own it without saying a word. I carried us financially for 2 full years after you finished grad school, I said, keeping my voice even. While you did those unpaid internships that were building your portfolio, I paid rent, bills, groceries, everything. Never brought it up because I thought that's what partners do. Last year, when your company slashed your salary 30% and you were mortified, I covered the difference every month. Quietly moved money from my business account to our joint one, so you never had to stress about rent. That Tesla you keep test driving and talking about someday, I put 20 grand down last week. It was supposed to be your birthday surprise. Alex was ghost white now, knuckles white around the suitcase, handle like it was the only thing keeping him upright. This apartment? Bought it 5 years ago with money I made freelancing, back when you still had student loans and couldn't even get approved for a lease in the city. The furniture, the art, your car, your laptop, the camera gear, those custom suits you love for client pitches. I paid for every bit of it. Not to keep score, because I thought we were a team. Because I loved you. I drove straight to Lena's place in the Mission that morning, pulling up just after 7:30. She opened the door already dressed, coffee in hand, like she'd been waiting for me. Spill, she said, dragging me inside. I crashed on her couch and told her everything. The suitcase, Taylor's comment, the look on Alex's face when the acquisition number hit, the birthday dinner that was about to become legendary. 3 years, Lena whispered when I finished. 3 years you hid what we built because you didn't want to bruise his ego. I wasn't scared, I started. Yeah, you were, she cut in gently. And girl, you were right to be. The second his friend said you weren't enough, he started packing. We'd met freshman year, random roommates in a dorm that smelled like cheap ramen and big dreams. She was comp sci, I was business. We stayed up all night planning the empires we'd build one day. 3 years ago over wine in North Beach, Lena pitched the idea that changed our lives. Real crisis management for tech. No corporate fluff, just stepping into the fire when everyone else ran away. We started tiny, grew fast. First client. Fintech startup that accidentally leaked 3 million users' data. 6 weeks later, we'd contained it, rebuilt trust, turned disaster into a masterclass. Year 1, $800,000. Year 2, $2.3 million. Last year, $4.2 million. We were expensive, discreet, and stupidly good at saving companies from the brink. 6 months ago, 2 Fortune 500s came knocking with acquisition offers, but both wanted us public, no more hiding behind NDAs. I stalled for months, telling Lena I wasn't ready, that it would complicate things at home. Truth? I was terrified of how Alex would take it. The board meeting's Friday, Lena said, opening her laptop. 3 days. They want signatures. Are you actually ready to step into the light? I'm ready, I told her. And for the first time, I really was. That afternoon I went home, printed every shred of proof I'd kept quiet for years. Contracts, earnings reports, bank records, tax returns. Made copies, built a clean, brutal presentation that no one could argue with. Then I called Atelier Cren, changed the reservation from 2 people to 12, requested the private dining room with AV hookup, and left very specific instructions. I walked into the restaurant at 7:45 on the night of Alex's birthday. The entrance is understated, just a brass plaque and a heavy wood door. The kind of place that doesn't need to scream because everyone who matters already knows. Monique, the maitre d', greeted me in her perfect Parisian accent. Everything is exactly as you asked, madam. She led me to the private room. Table set for 12, champagne flute sparkling, projector ready in the corner. I tested the deck, logo, numbers, receipts, timeline, clean, professional, devastating. Monique parked me at the bar with a perfect view of the door. 7:53. Liam and Chase, Alex's college bros, walked in looking confused in their finance guy suits. 7:57. Hannah, his work buddy, sharp blazer and sensible heels. 8 o'clock on the dot. Taylor swept in, tall, blonde, dripping money in an emerald dress that screamed, "Look at me." 8:02. Alex arrived, scanned the room, spotted his friends through the glass, then locked eyes with me sitting alone at the bar. Something shifted in his face, confusion, hope, then the first flicker of dread. "Jenna, what is this?" he asked, walking over. "Why are Liam and Chase here?" "It's your birthday dinner," I said, standing and smoothing my dress. "I invited everyone whose opinion you value most, especially Taylor. She's the one who helped you realize how ordinary I am." I walked into the private room like I owned the place, because that night I did. "Thank you all for coming," I began, voice strong and clear. "Please take your seats. I wanted to celebrate Alex's birthday with the people who matter most to him. 2 weeks ago, Alex told me his friends think I'm not good enough for him, that he could do better. So I thought it was only fair his friends be here when they learn exactly how remarkable I've actually been." I connected my phone. Our company logo filled the screen, sleek, undeniable. For the last 3 years, while Alex introduced me as his wife who does a little consulting from home, my partner and I have been running a crisis management firm that handles the messes no one else will touch. Slide after slide, growth charts, client wins, revenue. This morning we closed a $21 million acquisition. My share, $12.7 million. Then the real bombs, bank records, 18 months of me quietly covering our bills after his pay cut. Rent receipts from the 2 years I carried us after grad school. The $20,000 down payment on the Tesla, the camera gear, the website, the suits. Every invisible dollar I poured into his dreams while he called me comfortable. "I never saw this as keeping score," I said quietly. "I saw it as love, as partnership." But tonight I realized I was actually bankrolling the story that he was the star, while all of you nodded along because it was easier to assume I was nothing special. I raised my champagne glass. "I paid for this dinner. Every course, every bottle. Consider it a birthday gift and a goodbye present to go find that better you all think he deserves." I took a sip, set the glass down, and walked out into the cool San Francisco night, finally free from a marriage built on people who never once looked close enough to see the truth.